Hi, and welcome to Guru Grit. So, today's question that a viewer sent in was, how do I get my ex back? Very interesting because it's something that I think most people have thought at some point. And that was the only thing they said. They said, I want to keep the deep details private, everything private. So, a general answer is going to give a general question. This works to our advantage. When you begin to understand how the thoughts that you think and the feelings that you feel impact your world, it's really nice to begin from a general standpoint because these general messages are going to be like transferable skills that you can apply to multiple different issues in your life and then find solutions for them. So let's begin. When you consider having an ex-partner, the first thing that usually is brought up in your emotional state of being and in your mind is good times that were. That's the first thought you're going to have, like a memory. And then the feeling is actually going to be a lack of that person, Oh, I remember the last time I was at that cafe, we were sat there, but now they're gone. They're no longer here. My love is lost. So the first thing that you notice when you think about a love connection that's expired is the lack of love. So no manifestation technique or energy work is going to bring that back unless you shift your state of being and feeling and thinking. So usually we want someone to come back who once made us feel loved to make us feel loved again. So all you have to do for the first step is notice whenever you think of that person. If you choose to think of that person, first of all, though it's probably easier to leave the subject alone for a little while, is to find a way to feel appreciated in yourself. Because sometimes we miss a person for specific reasons, and then other times we just miss the feeling that the interaction with that person generated in us. It's not necessarily specific to them. So, if you could find a way to appreciate yourself the way that that person made you feel appreciated or loved, or as my friend put it, doe-eyed. I just want to be doe-eyed. I want that person because they made me feel doe-eyed. You have to find a way to be enchanted by life, starstruck by the little miraculous things like these plants or, pets or something. So find a way to flow the feeling of love to yourself. Secondly, understand that love, energy, intention, all of existence has the resources to bring you absolutely anything. So if you're really missing the feeling of love or a lifestyle that you had with that person, it can come to you from anywhere, through anything. Usually as humans, we find that really hard to believe. We think, but that person was so generous to me. I don't know anyone generous. Well, when you say that, you close the door on the possibility to meet someone generous, to meet someone affectionate, attentive, kind, somebody who flows their presence and listens to you. So don't just take all these characteristics and feel like they belong to just this one person. They can come through 10 different people over the span of a few days. And the more that you appreciate every interaction, and the essence of each of those interactions, the more that you call through that person, the more that you summon a person that has all of those things and more, because I always say existence has a much better memory than you or I. We forget very, very quickly. Anytime you thought something, anytime you felt upset, anytime you felt joyful, it's been recorded in the ether. You don't necessarily remember every experience you've ever had, but existence does. So it doesn't have to be specific to that person. Now the third thing, so the first is to try to find a way to flow love to yourself. Second, acknowledge every time it happens. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Just appreciate. Even if someone hits on you that you would not care for, just think, do you know what? I really appreciate that. It took them courage to come up to me. It was nice of them. They took time out of their day to say something nice to me. I appreciate that. Though you don't feel a spark, you don't feel chemistry, you just say thank you so much. And you think to yourself, thank you so much, That's the whole point. That you flow the narrative of worthiness, that you're worthy of romance, of a nice time, of companionship, and so forth. And lastly is to acknowledge that even though it can come from anywhere, you have to let it go. Because so much of the time when you want something too badly, and this usually happens not with a new romance, but with an old romance, because you have habitual thought patterns about something that you've already lived. So with an existing partner, there's a flow, there's a rhythm. You know, they used to text me every morning, every night, I'd get a phone call. They were good at remembering birth dates, or they were really thoughtful, or they were this or that, the other. You just have a vibrational habit. But habits can be formed and reformed. So form a new habit to appreciate the essence of those characteristics rather than those characteristics strictly belonging to that person. This takes a level of trust, because usually when you say to people, don't think about your ex anymore, you can fall in love with anyone, don't worry about them, mind your own business, they get really wound up. You know, they just get into this tight coil and they think, but if I stop thinking about them, they won't come back to me. Wrong. If you stop thinking about them, if you let it go, if you truly relax, don't talk about them, try your best not to think about them. You know, watch romance movies, some hunky people here and there, some pretty people here and there, listen to some happy songs, go to a park and people watch, sit at a cafe, whatever you're able to do. But observe and appreciate others, or yourself, even better if you can do it. Because you need to relax the notion that it must be that person. So even if they're heartbroken and thinking about you, if you're too intense, if you're too resistant, that it can't be anyone else, you're holding them away from you. So you have to build trust. I'm going to talk about this exclusively in a video on its own, but how to manifest when you have trust issues. And I think if you've been born and lived more than a few months on this planet, we pretty much all have trust issues to some extent. But the reason we can't let something go is because we don't think it's going to come back to us. But my mother always said to me, what's yours can never go anywhere. It's just waiting for you. The only difference is you're not seeing it, you're not ready for it. And that's very true. So don't worry about what that person does. If, you know, they call you, if they don't call you, irrelevant. You need to learn to flow that love and trust to yourself. And consider the analogy. If I'm holding something and I'm saying to existence, bring me this thing, it literally can't. It's already in my presence. I'm holding too tightly and I'm not even enjoying it. I'm not enjoying that thought. I'm not enjoying the experience of holding it. But if you let it go, it can fly out there. Existence can grab hold of it and then deliver it back to you. So sometimes we think that to manifest, we have to obsess. No, obsession is almost never a positive experience because so few people can master such a strong vibration. So let's consider that if you just let it go, it will come back to you. So you have to learn to trust yourself, to trust life, and most importantly, if you can manage, to understand that the universe is infinite intelligence and it might know what's better for you just a little bit more than you know yourself. I'm not saying other people. I'm saying the universe and you working together. So if you let that person go, it can bring you someone infinitely more exciting, nurturing, affectionate, and so forth. But in order to experience that, you must be in a happy and relaxed state because you're very tense. If you're negative, if you're sad, if you're lonely, it's going to bring you someone to distract you for about a month. But a month in, they're going to make you feel lonely and sad. You have to shift the vibration. So if you get happy, your ex can come back, or someone even better can take their place. But that's up to you. You must be able to train yourself to get happy. No one is born an Olympian. They train for that kind of glory. This is the same thing. You must train for that level of expectation, that level of love. So I hope that this helps. It can be used for anything, you know, money, health, physical state of being. Consider it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to go answer some more questions. Until next time.